Welcome back, everybody, to your El Paso Running Podcast. Whether you're listening up for your first mile or chasing that new PR, this podcast was created for runners of all levels and to support the wonderful running community that we have. I'm your host for the show. I'm Dr. Maria Fuentes, and each episode we dive into expert advice, inspiring stories, the latest running trends, local events to help you stay informed, motivated, and connected. So let's hit the ground running together and continue growing as a community together. So today's topic, I think it's important topic of conversation that we need to open up and just bring it here into the podcast. Today is it's May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think this is one of the topics that we hear about, but sometimes we're afraid to open up and listen to what is happening in, like, when we're dealing with issues with depression, anxiety, and many issues out there. But I think it's an important topic to discuss, and we can share about, so we can recognize it among our peers, our friends, our family members, and be able to support each other. So major depression is actually one of the most common mental health disorders in the United States. For some individuals, major depression can result in severe impairments that interfere with their family, in their work, in their daily life, right? So back in 2020, about 9.2% of Americans aged 8 years and older reported to experience a past major depressive disorder. We're going to be talking more a little bit. We have a health expert with me today and talking about recognizing what are the signs and symptoms of major depression. And this translates to roughly 1 out of 10 Americans experiencing depression. According to the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, for the prevalence rate in U.S. in 2021, an estimated 21 million of adults in the United States had at least one major depressive disorder. So that represents almost 10% of the whole population, and that's a lot, right? Depression also is more common among certain demographics, including women and younger adults. Sometimes the symptoms in this population can be a little bit different and not so clear to us. The prevalence for major depressive disorder in females is 10% in comparison to males to 6%. And in the young population, from 18 to 25 years of older, about 20% of this population are experiencing depression. So many of these mental health disorders and neurological disorders are usually associated with some type of hippocampal dysfunction. And going a little bit back to your anatomy class, the hippocampus is the part of the brain that is associated with learning, memory, cognitive function, executive function, attention, memory processing, and even processing all of these emotions. So it's an important part of our brain in this case. It's also associated with Alzheimer's. So not only in the brain, but also at molecular level, there's an association of depression and mitochondrial dysfunction. So if you guys remember, your mitochondria is an organelle in your cell that is associated in breaking down macromolecules such as carbohydrates and proteins and produce ATP and energy of your cells. So depression has an impact in your brain and in your cells. So exercise for us, this is a running podcast, right? And running research has shown that exercise has such a positive impact in your brain, and actually to improving this area of your brain, this hippocampal dysfunction, improving that aspect. So it improves your memory, it improves your overall processing of emotions, your cognitive function, and also it improves obviously your at cellular level, this stimulating your not only the neuroplasticity in your brains, but also to get these mitochondrial functioning and rolling and producing energy back again. So some research even says that exercise is even equally or even better than when using antidepressants. So So welcome everybody. This is going to be the topic of conversation today, and I have two wonderful guests with me today. Two beautiful young women with me today. They're runners, of course, and they're going to be sharing their experiences with running, also with the struggle a little bit with this depression, and also helping us recognize what signs and can we recognize into our family members, and also some of the resources that we can find to help others that might struggle with an episode of depression. So here on my left, I have the beautiful and wonderful Amanda Patrick. This girl, she's so amazing. I'm sure if you're here in the El Paso running community, you know Amanda Patrick for sure, right? She's a wife, mother, and mother of two daughters and two for daughters as well. I know she's a runner at heart. You can see her in her videos. She has a master's degree in school counseling. She started running in 2019, and she set a goal of running half marathon within a year. Now she has completed 1 ultra marathon, 9 full marathons, 18 half marathons, numerous 5Ks, and including the beautiful New York City Marathon last year. She's a badass. She's amazing. She's one of these people that she has a positive energy. You see her, you feel happy when you see her because she has this positive vibe that she immediately you can detect like in her. So, welcome, Amanda. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. When you told me you wanted me on your podcast, I was like, "What? Me?"
No, it's an honor for me to have you. You're like such an amazing person. I think people in the running community here in El Paso, obviously, they know you. You were also like an El Paso marathon ambassador last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last 2 years. It was an honor to share my love for running and influence others to set goals and accomplish those goals. So.
And I know you did this wonderful thing with the El Paso, the Animal Services. Was it the Humane Society?
Yes,
Yeah.
I volunteer with rescue runners. They're part of the animal services. And during my training last year, before I went to New York, I said, you know what? One day I'm going to go and run 13 dogs for 1 mile each. So I did a half marathon running 13 different dogs.
I love that so much.
Yes, giving them all the love and attention. And it filled my cup just seeing how happy they were. So.
That is so cool, and that is such a powerful story. I saw it, and you just it speaks like the kind of heart the kind of person that you are, right? So, you're an example in that sense.
Thank you.
So, tell us your running journey. I see that you began in 2019. What made you? I want to start running.
Okay, so I actually got my master's degree fall 2016, got certified that spring. I kept on applying, trying to get into the schools as a school counselor. I couldn't get a counseling job, so I went back to teaching. So I taught for a few years. I was like, you know what, this is where I'm meant to be. I'm with my daughter. Everything's going to be okay. And it was around the beginning of 2019, I kind of felt stuck, like I should be doing more. I started listening to self-help, personal growth podcasts, reading books. Rachel Hollis, she really helped me. And she says, everyone should run a marathon. And I was like, wow, okay, let me start with half. So one day in April, I had no idea what I was doing. April 2019, I put on my tennis shoes. It was like 1 in the afternoon. I was like, I'm going to run a half marathon within this year. I'm going out. Let me see. I didn't have a tracker on my phone. I had no Apple Watch. I had no Garmin, nothing. It was super hot, and I came back. I ran down the street. I was huffing and puffing. I had to stop. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? So I just kept on going, run, walk, and each run after that got easier and easier. And I did my research. I downloaded Runtastic, Strava, to find which one I liked best. Got my Apple Watch, which was a game changer.
Yeah, of course.
And started surrounding myself with the running community, and everyone just helps each other out. And the further I got, wow, I didn't think I could run a mile without stopping. I didn't think I could do 2, 3. And before I realized it, I was almost at my distance, and I got to 13 miles.
Better. And I think that's the beauty and the power of running.
Exactly.
I think no matter your level, where your level is, it's just that sense of accomplishment and being able to show yourself what your body can do is just amazing. And once you improve your distance or run your first 5K or you improve your time, every time you feel more that sense of accomplishment, and it gives you that overall sense of well-being, right?
Exactly. Yes. It just gets you in that whole growth mindset.
Yeah.
And it trickles over to all areas of your life, not just in running, in your profession. As a mom, I always try to be the best version of myself every day and give it my 100%, 110%.
Yeah, and that also too, running helps you with that mental view of life. I think you become naturally like a more positive person. You start seeing things like from a more optimistic point of view. I don't know, because you start having that sense of accomplishment again, and that also helps you like to turn a little bit of that perspective and how you can confront some issues in life.
I totally agree 100%. I'm currently on my kind of back to my running journey. So in February 2020 was my half marathon. I did it. I fell in love with it.
Which one was your first one?
El Paso.
El Paso, okay.
Yes, right before COVID hit.
So that was 2019?
2020.
2020.
Yes,
okay.
February 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then I just remember that night scrolling, looking at my pictures, talking to my husband, telling him, you know what, that was amazing, but I kind of feel that post-race depression. Like, what next? And I told him, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to do a full next year. I'm going to set that goal. And he kind of was like, are you sure? Like, you need I know you work hard, but it's nutrition. It's so time consuming. And I was like, yes watch me. Challenge on, you know? And shortly after that, COVID hit. So I had all the time to run. We couldn't really go anywhere. And that's how I got through. You know, we got through COVID. I was setting goals, running. So a year later, the El Paso full marathon in February of 2021, the snowstorm.
That was
my first full marathon.
Oh, wow.
So I know the news kept on saying, it's going to snow, it's going to snow. So I went and got more gear, you know, like a weatherproof Columbia jacket.
So was it snowing when it started, or did it start to snow as you guys did the marathon?
So I looked out the window when I woke up at 4:35 a.m. and I just see the flurries, and it wasn't sticking yet. And I was like, oh gosh, they were right. It's going to snow. So I had everything ready.
And I'm surprised it wasn't canceled.
I know. I asked Mike, and he said, these runners, they're achievers. They're going to show up. They're going to get this done. And it's true. We worked so hard for that day. And I have 2 daughters, and I want them to see, if you put in the work, you have a plan, you can accomplish anything. And sometimes you might have obstacles like a snowstorm and other stuff get in your way, but you can't let that stop you. You have to push through and keep going. So it just kept getting worse and worse, and the snow kept on coming down. Everyone was slipping and falling. It took me 6 hours, but I did it. I finished. I did not stop. I just remember the last mile crying the whole time because I couldn't wait for it to be over. And everything was frozen. It was like 19 degrees. My fingers were turning purple. Yeah. And I just cried that whole last mile. My mom was there, and she just was waiting for me at the finish line. And I just, embraced her. And Mom, that was the hardest thing I have ever done in my life.
And I get chills just like thinking that emotion, like crossing the finish line, is something that you just can't explain. You have to experience it.
Exactly. So I did that and went home, took a hot shower, fell asleep, relaxed. But I'm so happy I was able to do it. And sadly, my family couldn't go, my daughters and my husband, because of the snowstorm. And my mom and her husband, they had a big truck, so they were able to make it. And they got there early enough, and they got me back home safely. So I said, you know what? I need a redemption marathon, right? So I registered for the Rio Marathon.
Okay.
Hills. Okay,
Yeah.
another challenging one.
Okay. So you like challenges, Amanda.
Yes.
We can see.
I do. So that was in January, the end of January. I think it was the 26th. That was in June, June 26th. So through from February through June, my grandmother, she had a terminal illness. She had pulmonary fibrosis, and she did pass away on June 15th. So that was the hardest thing. When I thought running through the snow, finishing a half marathon, losing someone you're so close to and that you love so much is the hardest thing in the world. So I would run 1,000 marathons, to take away the pain, everything she went through during her illness, as she was, it was hard. That's all I can say. But she passed away. A few days later, a week later, was the marathon in Rio Doce. She loved Rio Doce so much. That was her happy place. Her and my grandpa would always go to the casino and have fun. And there were just so many signs that day that she was with me. She left me all the signs. She used to work for the public schools. I found a badge that said Las Cruces Public Schools on the floor in the middle of the forest in Rio Doce. Like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
And she loves picking up seashells when we go to San Diego. And for some weird reason, there was a seashell in the middle of a forest. Why is there a seashell? And all these things were coming. It was raining, just so many things. And I knew she was with me that day. And she really showed it to me as I was crossing that finish line. I had my playlist on shuffle. And the song that came on was one of her favorite songs from Big Daddy Weave, My Story. Oh, I lost it. That's when I was already emotional, about to get to the finish line. My whole family was there waiting for me. And my grandma was right there with me too. So that was one of the most beautiful, special moments of my life. And I still get so emotional thinking about it. Sorry, I'm
a
getting
beautiful
choked up.
experience for that marathon.
It was. And running got me through the grief, dealing with her loss. I think I would have, I don't know, there were days where I just lay in bed and be like, oh,
I can see you were very connected with her.
Yes.
You had a special relationship with
Yes,
your
she
mom?
was like my second mom. My
Okay.
mom, when my mom had to go to work, she would take care of me and my cousins and take us to school and pick us up. So she was, we'd spend all summer there swimming, having a good time. Those are my best childhood memories with my grandma. She had the biggest heart. She was always taking care of all the grandkids. She'd help her older friends go to the grocery store, give them rides, anything you needed, you could count on her. So that's my goal in life, is to carry her legacy and do small things with great love. Like St. Mother Teresa said, those are the words I live by.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so every day, there's not a day that goes by that I don't talk to her. Every morning, I wake up and, good morning, Grandma, and I say our good morning prayer together. And it was so easy to just, stay in bed, of course. I went through a hard time, and I just could hear her in my head saying, Amanda, you need to get up. You have your daughters you need to take care of. You need to continue. She's like, you have things you need to get done. So, of course, I'd be like, okay, Amanda, keep yourself busy. You need to do this. Of course, I've had my moments where I cry, miss her. Of course, I'm happy she's not suffering. She's not sick anymore. I just miss her. That's all. What I wouldn't give to give her a hug and for one moment with her. But my goal is just to make her proud and to share, everything she taught with us, with everyone.
So definitely running has helped you throughout this process of healing, staying strong and continue, showing that, even in difficult times, you still have to get up and continue growing. I was recently looking at, I don't know, I think it was something in Instagram. It just made click with me that it's interesting that people that go through some type of emotional pain or something that is happening in your life, we get into endurance sports because it's a way kind of like we choose to confront that type of pain, but we learn how to keep going, right? So a lot of people that deal with some type of trauma or emotional pain end up in doing some type of endurance sports.
Exactly. It makes you so resilient.
Yeah.
Like you're stronger than you ever thought you were.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So have you changed, Amanda, do you think, in some way, like running from the Amanda that before that 2019, that the runner that is now in? How has running helped you?
Yes, most definitely. It's made me more confident and prioritize what's important in life to make sure I can have time for self-care. Because as a mom, we're so busy and taking care of others, and especially in my profession, when I was a teacher and as a school counselor, you're the helper. You're constantly helping everyone else. But what I've learned, you have to fill your cup and practice self-care before you can help anybody else.
Sure. But sometimes that's really difficult.
Exactly.
Because as women, we're also thought that we need to be strong. We need to take care of the family. We have to just keep going. But like we cannot show sometimes like any type of weakness as well. Although as women, sometimes we're a little bit more open to share our emotions rather than men.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. So running has made me prioritize what's important in my life. Like I wake up every morning at 5, pack lunches, get breakfast ready, and I take my dogs out at least for 1 mile. I'm on my running streak. So
what is day today? 400?
413. My first goal was like, let's see if I could do a whole week. And then I was like, oh, this isn't bad, like, let me keep going. And then I did a month. And I just kept going and going. I said, let's get to a year. And after that year, I'm like, okay, next goal now is 500. Okay. And of course, I know after 500, I'm going to get to 1,000.
Yeah, like a life, like running Amanda. That is so beautiful. Well, thank you, Amanda, for being with us today. So let me introduce to our other guest I have here on my right. She's Ericka Barragan. She has an associate's in applied sciences in social work from El Paso Community College, also a bachelor of social work at UTEP, the license of Bachelor of Social Work at the state of Texas. She's ready. She's going to graduate like next week from her Master of Social Work in Advanced Standing at the University of Texas at El Paso. Congratulations, Ericka. She's an Ima Hogg scholarship that focuses on mental health. Her background is working on diverse multicultural communities and organizations for the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, the El Paso County Public Defender's Office. She's a counselor at Aliviane. I believe she's also a runner, right?
Yes, I am.
Hi, well, welcome, Ericka. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so excited to engage our listeners to what it is and what it means to be running. I'm also a hospice medical social worker as well. And however, for me, I've been running my whole life since I was little. In high school, I also went to state and regionals, and I always ran. I'm not in a running community. I am one of those runners that I run out in the fields.
Okay.
And I don't know, that's just my running experience. However, I do also train my little ones as well to incorporate their self-worth, self-resilience, self-acceptance of what they can do at their level as well. My little boy, he was born with a congenital heart defect, so he's my hero. Okay. So if I can get him to run, his main running right now is 1 mile. And so
how old is he?
He's 10.
10 years old.
10 years old. So in his life, he's already encountered, he's flatlined and everything. So if he can do it, I can do it. And I've had to move. Even when I had to move for his care, I would incorporate running for me.
Okay.
For my mental health, because no mother wants to see their child
taken
into an operating room.
So hard. And that's what we were talking about in the other podcast with Corazón de Niños that we had, like the people here, even one of the surgeons. But the strength that a kid shows during like this time of having to undergo like a heart surgery, and sometimes they have to show that strength to the parents, because as parents, you're obviously scared to death for the process.
Yes, yes, and so that's what I've been doing too, and with him, because I know he's not going to be able to play any contact sports, so like football, because he has wires in his sternum.
Okay.
So it's something that I want to show him that he can do all things through Christ as well. In my profession as a MSW and a licensed bachelor social worker, I also know we incorporate the biopsychosocial even in our assessments and everything, but it also has to do a lot of spiritual. And with running, that's what it is also, a spiritual encounter with the self. And I think that's very important, because if we don't ground ourselves even that way, I feel and believe and experienced it, we don't have anything, we don't ground ourselves even spiritually, whatever it is.
And I love it. Like you put it beautifully. Running is a type of spiritual connection within yourself. It is a type of meditation. I'm more of a solo runner. I'm a very long-wheel runner. But I think I began running late in my life, in my 40s. So, but I think it was not until running that I was able to confront so many issues or things from my past that I didn't even know I've been carrying all my life, and was able to confront them, and I think even heal through the process of running. So yes, running is a very place where you are able to reconnect and find yourself again.
I agree with you. I think for even not just because of how I've studied and I've learned, but even in a personal experience, the self-talk to yourself, even if it's like, uplift yourself while you're running. We listen also, as runners, we like our playlists, but also instill some of those motivations. And I also put in even positive affirmations. Even if when you're sick, for example, even when I had COVID, I ran like 8 miles. But you know what? In that, it's not like that I wanted to get sicker, but I needed to do it to sweat it out, of course, because running is very good for you. And it just gave me that strength and just that motivation, okay, and not that negative talk or to myself because of all the news, out there in our community, not just in our community, but everywhere. It's so, social media is great, but it can flood you with negative thoughts, and you need to battle that as well.
And I don't know if that happens to you, but I think I've mentioned in other podcasts, but sometimes you go into social media and you get depressed. You come up with this feeling, and I don't know what happens. I don't know if unconsciously you start comparing yourself to other people or seeing images or messages. I don't know, that maybe you're not even completely aware of, but you close your social media and you suddenly feel like down. It's like it puts you down. So it's very important. How do we talk to ourselves? And your environment that you surround with people or mind-alike people that are gonna help you, like stay on track or help you achieve your goals.
Exactly. You mentioned it very well. I also I do go by, it's something that I instill in my children as well, and it comes with like the biopsychosocial and spiritual. And I always tell them, it's a cruel world, but remember this: God created you in His image. You are wonderfully made. And we got to think that to ourselves too, because we truly are.
Perfect. Running is a very spiritual thing when we are able to connect ourselves, but it's important how we talk to ourselves. Exactly. I think for when I have like a hard workout or a long run, I need maybe 1 day or 2 days, and I'm repeating to myself, I will tackle this run. I will do so. I need to be repeating myself that, I have this workout coming up. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill it. But it's important.
I always tell myself, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So when it's hard, you keep going and going and pushing, and you're like, I didn't think I could do that. So that I feel that the training for a marathon is the most therapeutic thing ever. That's the hard part. If you can get through that, the actual marathon day, that's your victory lap. You just have to enjoy every moment of it because you've done all the work.
Yeah.
The training is the hard part.
Exactly.
So that's
Training is the marathon.
That's the part that changes you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They say, like, if you really want to, like, know yourself, go run a marathon. That's really like the challenge because you get yourself to know your weaknesses, your strength, but like so many things. Do you have a running mantra, Amanda?
I always tell myself, you're stronger than you think. You're stronger than you think.
Yeah. This like, well, for example, when you're getting on those tough miles that you're like, I'm struggling. Is that what you say to yourself?
Yes.
I have like a couple of things. Sometimes I'm like, I have strong legs, I have a strong heart, I have a strong mind. So I keep like saying that. I also like that Haruki Murakami phrase that says like pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So you gotta be able to confront pain and know that pain is gonna be part of the process, but how you look at it, like that suffering part, no, you gotta embrace it and be able to, like to confront
Get
it.
through it, yes.
I agree.
Do you have a mantra, or what helps you like stay focused on your runs?
For me, being human too, I just like, I'm like you, I'm a lone wolf. I run by myself. And I run out in the boonies, and so I just let my family, just leave me here. And I think to myself, I put myself in this situation, and you're just gonna finish. And by I just go, and by the last one, like I look at my watch, I've already ran 16 miles, and I'm like, okay, I'm almost home. And I'm not training; it's just me.
Okay.
I just regularly do
You're
that.
just regularly like a long distance runner.
I'm a long distance runner. So, God willing, I am going to start training for the Every Women's Marathon in Arizona.
That's pretty cool.
So I don't know how I know I've done my research on what it means to those women. So I don't know if I'm going to be setting goals for myself, or am I going to be stopping next to each woman that, it means something to them. To me, it is going to be meaningful, but I want to be that, that support system for them as well, because these are diverse group of women that have gone through so many hardships, or maybe even barely started to walk, or just gone through an injury, and it's just one of those that, you want to be that support for women, since we're still much more stigmatized and we're on the lower than men. So that's my goal, and that's in November.
That's a cool marathon. But I didn't want it. Like it barely started. I know, like last year. This can be the second year, so maybe next year, Amanda, we're on the roll for that one. But would that be technically your first marathon?
First marathon.
Okay, go girl. Okay,
First
awesome,
marathon.
awesome.
I've done half marathons, and I'm also, of course, the Paso half marathon and 5Ks. But I haven't really put my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a marathon. I've just I just run. Honestly, I can't say, oh, it's because I've been training for this. No, I just run.
But still, I mean, running 16 miles just for running, that's you're gonna be ready in no time for that marathon, right? And what you're saying is also like very true. I think for my first marathon, what kept me going also is you look around and see people running, and I just kept wondering, the story that is behind each one of these persons surrounding you. I'm sure that every single one of these thousands and thousands and thousands of people, because it was a New York City marathon, I'm like, I wonder, like, what's the story behind each one of them? And I'm sure each one of them have a special story to tell. So that's very motivating as well.
When you see all ages, all abilities, everything, you name it, it's so beautiful and inspiring. And I'm, of course, a natural cheerleader, so I run by them. Give me 5. You're doing great. Keep going. Yay. Thumbs up. I'm the cheerleader, because we all get each other in the running community. It's hard. You have to work hard to accomplish these goals.
But that's also beautiful of the running community. That's very, I think the running community is like very special, supportive environment. You don't have that sense of course, there's always competition, thing like that, within it, because of like racers that are competitive. But per se, the community, you will always find some type of support of people, because everybody is aiming for that. And running is such an individual sport that is very hard to compare yourself to other runners,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, yes.
That's what I always say, run your own run your own pace. Just do the best you can.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward.
It's your story, it's your journey, it's your life, right? And what's keeping you going. All right. So we're talking about depression, which is kind of like the topic, going back to it. So it's very hard. I think sometimes we tend to mask sometimes symptoms, right, of depression. We talk that running makes us strong, makes us show us to keep going even on difficult times. But sometimes dealing with symptoms of depression is not easy. And it's also not easy to open up and share your feelings or a situation with your friends. So, Ericka, what are signs that we can recognize in friends and our peers to, hey, maybe this person is going through something? How can I help?
One of the primary ones is isolation. You'll notice a family member, even a child, or even a coworker, they're gonna isolate. And that's what I've noticed a lot, a main one that you can pinpoint, because you don't see, I know with depression, it can be cunning. And because like you say, the individuals will mask it. But because you cannot gauge hopelessness, even though that person is feeling it, and that's a huge sign of the hopelessness. But a big one that you can actually
Kind of like pay attention to?
yes, you can notice the isolation. You might, for example, even in your running community,
Okay.
you're going to notice like, hey, you know what? My friend hasn't came or hasn't shown up for a meeting. And I've also noticed, you know what? They haven't even engaged in their social media. Like they'll put up like even motivational quotes for everyone to see.
Yeah.
You'll notice those little things, and then you'll ask them, hey, are you doing okay? They will not respond. And that's a big cue to watch out for. Apart from being like the decreased appetite, the no sleep or sleeping too much, it can go either way. And it doesn't, the depression does not discriminate. You can be okay, and then all of a sudden you'll be triggered. And it doesn't mean that you have to go through, a death in the family. It can be a life change. Maybe you can even say, for example, you apply for a new job and you get it, and then you go in there and you're in for a shock, and it's something, your mind will be like, why would I apply for this job? These are normal things that all of us might go through, and that's when depression might affect you in that way. A divorce, for example, too, you're doing great, and all of a sudden infidelity, something that is traumatic to you that you do not expect, you won't be balanced. We call it when you're balanced, you're not in balance, and you will suffer that. You will not engage with your family as well too. And the scary part about depression is that those thoughts are ruminating, and they're negative. And what you can do as a family member is approach them and ask them, are you okay? But don't ask them too much, because they do get annoyed.
Okay.
I can tell you from a personal experience. I be completely transparent. When my mother passed away from cancer, I completely lost a sense of self in the way that she passed away as well. You think she didn't deserve this. Well, I thought that. And even though you know it's coming, your heart, your mind, you're not prepared. And you get annoyed by people asking you, are you okay? You get defensive. That's how you defend yourself, when you know that you're not okay, but then you do think you're okay. And those are big signs. And the thing is, to approach is just say I'm here if you need, but then also keeping a watchful eye because you know that person. And a big thing also too, if you notice, this is like already to the extreme, like notice the signs of suicidality, and people will start giving away things. And,
Okay.
And it's okay to ask them, are you thinking of killing yourself? A lot of people don't think, should I ask them? Yes, why not? And you might, you can continue to ask, do you have a plan? If they do, that's huge. They need hospitalization. For example, HN being the mental health authority here in El Paso, they do have availability, like 24-hour clinics that if you have a family member and you find yourself, she said, yes, I do want to kill myself. And I do have a plan. Okay, well, what do I do next? You can reach out or take them directly to a HN clinic that's 24 hours a day on Vandale.
Yeah, because I think it's very important to recognize signs, and also what can I do? What resources do we have? But reaching out for help, it's not easy, especially for requiring like professional help. You reach out to a clinic and they're not easy to talk to begin with. They're not even friendly. Then the problems with insurances, and then comes to schedule an appointment, and then you go, and the process is not very easy to get that access to. And then I think we have limited amount of clinicians actually that can deal with depression. So as I see the numbers of depression also, but the resources being like very limited, or the access to actually services. I think one time I was requesting services for a person like in UMC, and they never could call back. Somebody's gonna call back to you, or I'm sorry, maybe I'm already like giving away like some places, but they don't call back. You call back, and you're like, hey, I'm not okay. Like I need help, and then. So having access, I think it's very difficult sometimes for these people. I don't know if you struggle with any type of help before.
Yes, the same thing kind of happened. So after my grandma passed away, I've already been on antidepressants before I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression in high school. The drama, the relationships and breakups, that's when I was first diagnosed, and I was put on antidepressants. I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, Haley, when I was 19 years old, and I stopped. I was like, no, like I can't, I don't want to be on these while I'm pregnant. I was fine for years and years, up until around the time I was telling you guys when I graduated with my master's and I saw the signs. I would just cry, and I wouldn't clean and do what I supposed to do, and I don't like the way I feel. I need to do something about it. So I went to the doctors, to just my primary doctor, and I told them. They're like, no, I'm glad you're coming. So they were able to prescribe me medication. So I've been on it since almost 10 years now, since 2016. And when my grandma passed away, I felt like I needed more, and so my doctor told me, let's refer you to a psychologist. And so they did, and they gave me a mood stabilizer in addition to that, and that helped tremendously. And I was on it only for a year because, to help me get through that hard time. But it was hard finding someone. It took a good month. And I need a while, help. Yes, I don't like the way I feel. So we need more resources. We need more help.
For sure. I think I also took like the antidepressants. I started with in my teenage years as well, and I took them for many years. I think for over 20 years. I thought and you feel like you need them because you want to be functional, like in work and with your friendships, with everything. But I feel like for me, it was not until running that I actually found like that peace of mind, and like again going through that meditation process and getting to know myself, that I was able to finally, I guess, find that peace of mind, right?
Exactly.
And I did get rid of the antidepressants, but I took them for a long time. But it's hard to find the right resources sometimes to help you navigate through.
And it takes a while too, because sometimes it might not work for you, or they need to increase your dose or switch your medication. It's just making sure you're working on it, because you kind of feel, you do feel hopeless. Like, am I ever going to feel better? I just want to feel like myself again. But it comes to a point where you like, I'm tired of the way I feel. Like I tell my students when they're upset and stuff, we need to practice self-care. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating your 3 nutritious meals a day. We need all those vitamins and nutrients, staying hydrated, exercise, and having your hobby. If you practice self-care, that helps tremendously, in addition with any therapy and medication as needed.
Probably about the medication, and it's one of those that a lot of people still like. I guess it's within a culture based. Unfortunately, they're like definitely no to like psychotropic medication.
True.
And it's very unfortunate. I can give an example of my sister, and I'm like, I'm gonna take my medication for anxiety because I can't deal with mom's passing, and would you want me to give you a lab referral so you can go? We can even go together. Nope. Medication? No, not me. It's still the stigma, the kind of the
there's a lot of stigma from not using medication.
And it's like, that's gonna help you function. I also like suffer from postpartum depression. We gotta think of our mommies too.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's difficult, and it's okay. And I remember with postpartum, I didn't even tie my son in his car seat, and I was like, it affects everyone, even your baby. So you gotta speak about these things. And at that time, I believe the medication they gave me was Zoloft, and I was not as educated as I am now, and it's okay. I'm like, my doctor was like, you gotta take this. If not, you don't want to harm your child. I'm like, absolutely not. So mommies with postpartum depression, mental health, anxiety, added tasks that are their first-time mommies too, or mommies with that have more babies with more added tasks and responsibilities. It's okay to take medication and have that support too.
And also to take some time off. I think that the society these days is so demanding. We feel like we need to meet like all the expectations, be a professional, like in your work, and be successful and have money and be the best mom, give the best lunches to your kids, and being like an amazing wife, and be staying in shape, look beautiful. Like we have like all these standards in society, that expectations that as a woman sometimes can be a little bit overwhelming. So it's a take to take some time off as well.
I agree. Yes, you just have to give yourself grace and know you're doing the best that you can do. And, sometimes we do have to go through the drive-through once in a while, and that's okay. The kids are going to be okay. They're probably happier than, it's to be mom's home-cooked meals. But it's all about just creating your routines. Like Sundays, I always meal prep. I have my breakfast. I do lunches. I do huge, sheet lasagnas, enchilada, whatever, to make the week go by easier.
So you're good with that organization, like with meal prepping. I don't like meal prepping. I'm so picky.
I'm just maybe tips because I'm terrible at
it. It's made a difference. Yes, it's helped tremendously.
So you prepare for the whole week, like you're...
Okay. And then I'll even make some pasta. I'll have chicken or ground beef. So we can just throw stuff together, like make pasta or chicken enchiladas. They can throw and mix and match everything, or have rice with chicken or rice with ground beef, or nachos. Just throw it on some tostadas, some nachos, and throw it in the oven and melt the cheese. So
some tips,
right?
Maybe I need that.
You're so good.
That's awesome. My daughter, they're older. I'm running them to practice. My youngest, she's in volleyball, and it's...
How old are your kids?
So Bella, she's 10. She's in 5th grade. She's going to be 11 this summer. And then Haley, my baby, she is 18. She just turned 18 last week. And she's graduating this year.
She's so beautiful. Yeah, I've seen
Gorgeous.
pictures. She's just like you. She's your
Thank
mini me.
you.
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
And she's such a hard worker. Like, she's in the cosmetology program at
Nice.
CCTE right now. So sometimes she stays till 7 o'clock to get her hours.
Okay.
And she still works on the weekends
Okay.
at Corner Bakery. And she's taking dual credit classes, getting college
Wow.
credit. She's going to graduate
Okay.
with over 30
Oh,
college
wow.
credits. So she's amazing. And, I do everything
Smart
in my...
girl.
Yes, she's a hard worker.
Well, I'm sure that you've been like a positive, image. We put like that influence on, and they can see that example, right? So I'm sure you've been like a great example for your
Oh,
kids.
thank you. After
Yeah.
my first half marathon, it was at the Chihuahua Stadium, El Paso, in 2020. I came and I gave her a big hug. I was like, "Oh, I did it." She's like, "Of course, I knew you were." And I have this beautiful picture.
Yeah.
I have a hat that says "Made for More" because that was like my mantra. Like, I need to do more for myself. And just for her to see that and her to give me that big hug. And I have that picture in my office, and it reminds me, be the best and do the best I can because my girls are watching.
Yeah.
And I just want them to not lose themselves either when they grow up and become moms.
Yeah.
I want them to still do their hobbies, do what makes them happy, practice self-care, because my mom is the most amazing mom ever. Single mom, I just don't remember her, going to get a massage, a facial, or exercising. Just work, the
That's
kids,
true.
work,
Yeah.
kids. And finally, it wasn't until just recently, after my grandmother passed away, a year and a half later, she went through a really bad depression, the grief, getting through it. She said, "You know what? I'm going to start running." My mom,
That's true.
at 59 years old. She's 61. She just turned
Okay.
61. She started running and she found, the peace. It was very therapeutic for her, and it's helped her. Like she said, like, I didn't think I could be doing this. So in January of 2024, she ran the Las Cruces half marathon. That was her
Okay,
first.
awesome.
Then February,
her
she
first?
did El Paso half marathon, and then she did it again this year.
And yeah,
so she's
I
done
got
4
to know
half
her, to
marathons.
meet her, like on one of those reunions. So
Yes.
that is so amazing.
She's amazing.
That you can still accomplish like new goals and new things, no matter your age, no matter nothing. You can still go for more and show you your body that what it can do. It's amazing.
Exactly, I agree. She's like my biggest cheerleader and the biggest helper, and so caring. Everything she does it for the family, for me and for my daughters. A matter of fact, it was my mom, my brother, my aunts, and my cousin Callie. She lives out there in New York. They were there cheering me on for the New York Marathon. And just the way, like, are we doing too much? Do we need to go back to the hotel? Do you need a rest? Do you need more water? What do you need? Electrolytes? Like, okay, did you eat? Like, just so caring, my number one cheerleader. I wouldn't be where I am today without her.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure. Also, my mom, like,
agree.
thank you, moms. It's gonna be Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all. Thank you for everything that you ladies do for us.
Thank you. Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
to cheer each other on and encourage each other and surround ourselves. Like, it's hard just being a mom, and like you said, including work, our hobbies, and everything else. We need, to be there for each other and surround ourselves with all the positivity, and just know we have a support system.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's also like beautiful of the running community that, and they're always going to be also like a stranger cheering you up for sure.
Exactly.
In a marathon or something like that. So it's cool. All right, ladies. So anything else that you would like to share on this topic?
So
by
just
others?
For me, I think it's really big to teach kids or even, as adults, because we didn't learn, we need coping skills, healthy coping skills to help us get through hard times. Because then when we stay in that funk for a long, long time and we don't do things that make us happy, it's hard to get out of it. So I don't know if I told you, but I started a running club at my middle school.
Oh, that's true. Tell us about it.
Okay, so it's the Ornado.
Ornado, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm a counselor at Ornado Middle School, and I started the Ornado Run Club because I wanted to share my passion and my love for running with my students. Because I would tell them, guys, I'm just a counselor. I'm just a mom. Like, I've done this. You guys can do anything. And so we run Tuesdays and Thursdays after school for an hour from 3:30 to 4:30 around the neighborhood. And I had 90 kids show up. Yes, 90 kids
show up.
Yes. Of course,
Look
I had
at you, Amanda, changing the world.
Oh,
One kid at a time.
and I just cheer them on and give them some helpful advice and do this and nutrition, exercising, stretching. I had 70 registered to run the El Paso Marathon 5K in
That's
February.
true. That was one of the biggest.
The teams.
Teams.
Yes, we had over 150 people on our team for the
Look at that.
race. It was one of the biggest accomplishments and joys of my life. Like that, I was running the full that day, but I was more excited for my kids to experience that race. I was like, how many have I done? It doesn't matter. These kids are experiencing their first big race, and I hope it changes their life. And
It will, definitely. I'm sure about it.
they have that healthy coping skill and know, I'm stronger than I think. If I'm going through a hard time, I can just go for a run, and it just boosts their mental health and get them in that growth
And also
mindset.
that overall health. Right now we have like an increasing trend also of obesity and finding metabolic syndrome in kids. Already kids having show with not only obesity but also high blood pressure and having other high lipids in their blood work and things like that. So, and that's already being found in middle schools, like this issue happening of metabolic syndrome. And the thing I think that you're doing, not only doing for mental health, but I think you're putting an example of putting people, all the kids in movement and, let's get
for their
running
physical
and going
health.
for
It's
health.
good.
It's overall. So running helps you. I mean, not only running, we focus here on running because we love running, but exercise in general is going to help you with your mental health, overall health, and so many things.
Exactly. That's what I always say. You move your body, change your mind.
Yeah, perfect. Love
Yes,
it.
it gets you in a positive mindset, gives you that boost of energy.
Yeah.
And it's just so exciting to see them, accomplish so much. We're actually going to have our 30th anniversary celebration, which is a 5K.
Are you inviting us?
Yes, please come. It is going to be on Sunday, May 18th at 8. The race starts at 8 a.m. It's going to be a health and wellness event. We're also having Restore Wellness, a sound bath, yoga classes, food trucks, some games. It's going to be a huge fun party.
I'm happy to be there. I would love to be there. No, I think you're putting an example. Thank you for being a leader and, like showing, like just through exercise, what exercise can just make a big change on you and impact in your life.
Yes.
Thank you, Amanda, for everything that you do. You're such an inspiration.
No,
so
thank you.
Thanks for Ericka.
Yeah, I would like to also bring up some. I know a lot of children in our community do have more resources than others, and I would like to focus on how mental health is affected by poverty. To sign up for these races and all these activities, family members need money, more transportation. So I'm more of the how do we get them there? So I am more on the advocate to get them to meet their hierarchy of needs through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If they do not have food, shelter, water, they're not going to be motivated to do any of those things. So please, if I can say something about this, it's a continued issue, and I don't think poverty is ever going to stop. So mental health support, even donating. I'm a big donator to Goodwill, and I know they do sell their stuff. So what I do is go and sit outside with our community members and just sit with them and on the curbside and, give them what they need is food, water. I cannot provide them shelter, but I do provide them with resources, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of funding. And that's why we start from the bottom, and then maybe they don't even have shoes. So we got to look at those community members and give them water. And then maybe we can get them more into running it and teach them about your story. Because I did grow up in poverty as well.
Okay.
So humble yourselves enough that it's okay to speak about those things and teach them you don't have to stay there, and uplift them in those ways, because running is our focus, but you do not have to run from your problems of where you want to be in the future, and teaching them then. And it takes out to just go out and to meet your community members. I always, as a social worker, I always say, you got to meet them where they're at. And so I use a lot of the person in the environment. And their environment is not going to be my environment. Where do you go? To shelters. You go to homeless in the streets. So even then, you can speak about running.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure. All right. Any other resources that you can share, like, for example, for people dealing with depression or like for family members?
Yes, like I said, I know people in our community are, as a Hispanic culture, you want it done right then and there. You're not going to want to be holding on the phone. You're not going to want to be calling back, which is a drawback to those things. Like I said, it's each and is a walk-in clinic 24 hours on Yandell, and you need that help right away. Mm-hmm. They do have funding, say if you need to go to UPH, they will not ask for, say, even for those, like I'm a big advocate for substance use disorders, and then even if you're under the influence, they will help you. And they will not ask for payment, even if you don't have your identification on you.
Okay.
They're not going to force you. I know a huge barrier in our community is not having adequate documentation, and that you see a lot. And even if you're, say, just coming out of jail, all your identity is taken from you. You don't have anything, maybe not even a key, nothing, not even family. So that's a huge resources where you can
go and
yes.
request some help. Awesome. Well, thank you much for sharing your stories, ladies, for sharing some resources and important key points about depression. So I think it's very important for us to recognize signs. First, of family members, you notice isolation is one important one. So make sure to reach out to somebody. Hey, are you okay? I'm here for you if you need anything. Sometimes that's all that we need, right? To know like somebody there's out there that we can talk to. Go work out, exercise. We gotta grow, I guess, like you were saying, from the inside. We gotta learn how to love ourselves in order before also like helping others. So if you're struggling with anything, don't hesitate to reach out to a friend, to a family member for any of the resources that we have in the wonderful community. But thank you, ladies, for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. I know together we can accomplish more, and there's always going to be something or somebody out there to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. All right.
You.
Thank you. See you guys on the next one.